शब्दों के जरिए जिंदा रहेगी। लास्ट में एक लाइन पेश करना चाहूंगा। लिखा जाता है वो मिटता नहीं, जो लिखा जाता है वो मिटता नहीं, और जब तक मेरी कलम चलेगी मैं भी नहीं मिटूंगा। शुक्रिया।
आपका बहुत धन्यवाद। अंत में मैं अध्यक्ष कल्की सुब्रमण्यम जी से निवेदन करती हूँ, आप अपनी क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स के लिए बधाई।
Thank you again, audience, dear writers, friends, and my dear people, friends and writers and fellow writers of the LGBT community on the dais. What a vibrant session this had been. Diverse voices, beautiful representations, and especially fearless narratives. These are the perspectives that we want in the 21st century. While acknowledging and understanding and acknowledging and recognizing our struggles in the 18th, 19th and 20th century, as well as the oppression of the queer, LGBTQI, transgender, UNAC communities in the 18th and 19th century, especially by the colonialism and the British, because of the 1871 Criminal Tribes Act, which completely denied our rights, not just the transgender person's rights, but also more than 125 minority communities' rights, which have been completely denied by the, misunderstood and denied by the colonialism and the Criminal Tribes Act. Over 2.5 centuries of oppression, of denial of rights, and now, in 2014, the Supreme Court of India legally recognized the transgender community, the third gender community. When we talk about the identities, there are many cultural identities. Kinnar, Hijra, Mangalmukhi, Tirunangai. So many identities we have for transgender people, especially for transgender women as well. But apart from that, the visibility of trans men and their issues have been visible only in the 21st century, especially after the year 2000. And especially from the narratives, the original, authentic narratives of the trans men, the writers from the trans men community still have been few. And I think amplifying their voices is absolutely important, because they go through as much struggles as a trans woman, as a Hijra, as a Tirunangai does. One of the greatest things about the 21st century is the recognition of our identities. Every language, every culture should recognize its citizens, of course. If all genders should be inclusive, all genders should be included. And all genders should be celebrated. At a time of now, in the 21st century, at this moment, where transgender identities are erased in some of the world's biggest nations, or what we call as developed, rich nations, where transgender identities are erased. And it's a question to ourselves we need to ask: does materialistic wealth, economic boom really represent development? Or is it acknowledgement and acceptance of everybody as equal, and not erasing our identities, but recognizing our identities? India is one such country. Our country is one that is so diverse. There's no other country in the entire world that has so many languages, so many cultures, so many food. Especially the entire world celebrates our food. And I'm so happy to say that in Tamil Nadu, we have one of the most beautiful and especially one of the most tastiest biryani is cooked by the transgender chefs. And especially those Tirunangai chefs, also called as, of course, transgender chefs, one of the most wanted entrepreneurs catering services in our state. So food connects people beyond gender. Likewise, literature is connecting our lives. The true religion is humanity. And today, in our panel, all our writers, whether it's A. Revati Ma, who spoke about how theatre amplifies literature, and literature, how it amplifies theatre, and how she found her voice in both the spaces, and how she is able to talk for herself and for thousands and thousands of people like her through literature and theatre. So theatre amplifies literature, literature amplifies theatre. That is art. Because art transitions itself into literature, into music, into painting, into theatre, into films and everything. And that is the beauty of, that's the beauty of a creator, of creation. And when we talk about Akshay spoke about the struggles of LGBT community in the last century and in the contemporary world. While we recognize history, it's also important for us to not stagnate in the history, caught up in the past, but we should also move forward in the future. One of that reminds me that every language has to be inclusive. I give trainings at corporate events